I would maybe feel a little bit stronger about something like a shadow demon, perhaps. Just something that's able to put a little bit more control in onto the spirit breaker, both offensively and defensively, with like the demonic purge. Um, oh, but they actually banned it out. Never mind.
I suppose,
I'm
yeah.
just concerned about what Io and Bane are going to do once Spirit Breaker. I'm assuming this is a three Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
What
Radiant
is going to
demon
happen once he
banned.
gets the Shadow Blade?
Oh,
Okay.
Necrophos.
Uh, am I a fan of this? Not really.
yeah, I don't know until Lesh, but this was previously when Tiny was getting picked a lot. This was the answer that I was starting to see pre-TI.
10
People
seconds
were,
remaining.
I think it was through the qualifiers and maybe a pro series. I was
5
starting to see a
seconds
lot of people
remaining.
try the Necrophos to answer the Tiny, but
Right, but like, I feel like you just said, right? You've got a good amount of magic damage to be able to um, take out the likes of a Lesh. Yeah, I mean, the Lesh against you, right, is going to go through the Ghost Shroud. You've got the Bane Nightmare to be able to stop a Reaper's Scythe. You've got an Io who's able to provide burst healing to stop a Reaper's Scythe. So basically, the only hero that you're good against in this game is the Tiny.
Dire team banned.
was we were casting together when the Lesh was going Nihilism, right? And that was that Citrus? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yep.
So I mean, just amp up the damage even more against an Echo. Something could definitely take into consideration. He went for it both games as well, so obviously he feels like this
10
is
seconds remaining.
something
He's
super
won one of
strong.
them, right?
Did he win one or both?
5
He just won
seconds
one.
remaining.
Yeah.
It was like
So
a Wyvern pick that stopped them from winning the other one, I'm pretty sure.
so now with the Necro pick, you can't run it two. You got to
Radiant
quap.
team banned.
You're not gonna play. You're not gonna give it to Palos. So what? Now it's a
Aren't
Tino hero, and you put Spirit Breaker Grim together as a support.
aren't you going to run it as a one? I
I
feel like if you wanted to take out a Tiny, you need to give it farm, right?
um
Their high
10
ground sucks.
seconds remaining.
That's the issue.
on Execration, yes, it's not
Execration,
very
yeah.
good. Yeah,
5
I think it's
seconds
gonna be
remaining.
Tino Necro with a Shank Spirit Breaker, and you're now looking for your carry. They banned up Monkey. I'd like
Or
a
like PA maybe.
yeah. I was gonna say something like that for the lane with the Grimstroke, but I don't know how I'd feel into PA this game because I've like their lineup just feels awkward. PA Necro Quap. No one's everyone's very vulnerable to being bursted. PA needs a lot of space. Necro's immobile. You
I
make
think
it.
both teams are vulnerable to getting burst though, right? Like a Bane is very squishy if you're able to
Yep.
provide any kind of vision. And like I said before, Shadow Blade on Spirit Breaker is going to be the death of Io and Bane, especially if you've got someone else to follow up on that early aggression. And I feel like PA can potentially be the one to do that.
They do have the advantage of having the 24th pick though. So they're just going to try and. It's often when a team is 23rd picking their offlaner and they don't see the opposition's carry, they'll ban out some strong lane dominators. Monkey being one of them, which is banned out. Ursa's always another consideration, but we've seen Ursa try and scale into
Dire
Tiny, and
team
that's always
banned.
difficult. An anti-mage ban, okay.
Again, I'm getting more and more of a fan of an anti mage. I think who was it that played it?
Uh, was Albizet us?
It might have been.
Could
It
go.
was in another tournament.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
but it
10
was really
seconds
strong in
remaining.
the early stages, and I feel like if you're playing active anti-mage in the lane,
5
it
seconds
is able to get a
remaining.
lot done. And I think this game, of course, against
Radiant
a
team
Leshrac,
pick.
always going to be highly effective. So
The respect.
I can understand it.
Some of GY's best heroes out of the pool. Mars, Legion, Pango. Have these 3 to 4 back on here for Orca. I'd like to see them go team fight. And you've also taken away some of
10
the really
seconds
strong IO
remaining.
pairings as well.
And you can't go a
5
Slardar because
seconds
you don't know what you're
remaining.
up against.
Yeah. That's pretty much the other really good
Dire
one with the
team
IO.
pick.
Brewmaster.
Okay, it's not bad in the laning stage, right? You're going to benefit even further from things that are going to affect it to the Drunken Brawler.
Choose your hero.
Terrorblade, huh? I mean, it is a Palace hero, that's for sure. All right, so Shanks does show up instead of. Oh, he's finally showed up as what you screenshot me as, by the way.
Oh, really? on the right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that's going on. Chat can't see it, so they thought I was just tripping out.
Oh,
It's going to
and
be
Orca showing up as Orca now, which is
I
always a bit of a plus.
they still have their ragdoll logo in game, one of the icons. So they picked the Terrorblade into the Brewmaster, which
Yeah,
it's
a bit rough with the damage that you're able to deal out onto those illusions for sure. And Alesh, right? That's a lot of like your illusions are going to be non-existent this game. So maybe this is the Aghanim Scepter game on the Terrorblade, right? If you can
surely
provide
not.
the fear, that's going to do a lot this game, I feel.
Okay, so the Lesh matchup is rough for Terrorblade early, but when you pick up Skadi, Lesh really struggles into TB. You can just never close the distance. TB is going to blow you up before you get in range, and if you get there with a little bit of health, you can't stand your ground and fight. So early on, it's difficult, and I think that's going to be enabled even more because you have an Ire. We've seen Orca, how they can really enable this combo, and it could be even worse now if he goes for an early Aghanim Shard. You're just going to look to prioritize stacking up for Citrus. He's going to get items. They're going to look to run over, take objectives. So how does that
I agree with you most of the time with that.
Most of the
With that
time.
mentality of the Terrorblade against the Leshrac. But I feel like this game, you've got an IO paired together with you, so you're going to have that
Prepare for
extra
battle.
movement speed that you need to gap close or even potentially relocate onto the Terrorblade. And you've got the Brewmaster, who's going to be able to use the Dispel Magic to deal a ton of damage to the TB illusions. So it's not like you're going to get, burst 100 to 0 before you're able to close that gap. I feel like they've got multiple ways to actually lessen the impact of this TB with the Skadi against this.
Sure. I guess, like we were kind of saying, the Iro destroys a lot of a lot of matchups and how conceptually that they're supposed to be. And like you're saying, the Brewmaster is a pretty decent counter as well. I feel like this game, to enable Pelos, you have to, one, blow up the eye, which is always what you need to do when you're against an eye lineup, but Brew has to be heavily shut down as well.
30 seconds to battle.
I feel like, yeah, it's the Ire in particular.
GY?
Honestly,
They've got a ward up there, brother.
Well, he knew. He knew the entire time. He walked underneath the trees to the left of the Tier 1 tower.
Pick up the D-ward. Nicely done. Little bit of experience for the lads. And bottom. Nothing crazy going on. I think looks like Citrus is going to try and maybe swing to steal one of the bounties in the river. So, be 2 for 2. Don't Dire have left theirs, but it will be a 2 for 2 in the end.
That one will get it.
Sure.
Kenzo, will come back.
I'm also really intrigued as how Tino is going to play on the Necrophos. I mean, this is a very, very different sort of play style than a lot of other threes, and he hasn't had much time to experiment and practice. We did see him playing 3 for Execration for a little bit on a prior roster, but it was, your Mars, and pretty much it was the only thing he was looking comfortable on in one pro series. So how much has he been grinding? That's the question. And I think that's, we'll look to see, because again, very, very different play style.
Yeah, for sure. And you need to make sure you're having a very solid start to the game because, I mean, it's a 4 Spirit Breaker. You want to be making these rotations. You want to be getting active around the map, especially against a Leshrac. You also want to lock down. And honestly, when you're playing with this Queen of Pain, you do have a lot of that burst potential to be able to take down the Disco Pony.
You do. So, bottom looked like a relatively even start. Mid lane, you were kind of calling out for all the counters, at least with how they were looking to protect Citrus, but Queen of Pain did get let through the pool. And how do you feel like this matchup's going to fare between Citrus and Bob?
I feel like it's generally okay. Like, it's not like one of these other heroes. We just saw a Bat Rider in the previous series, but a Bat Rider into a Leshrac, it is a little bit more challenging, right? Because you've got such low cooldowns on your spells on a Lesh, you just want to be spamming out as much as you can, so you could buy a Magic Stick and be just fine. Queen of Pain, not so much, right? Like, you've got pretty solid right clicks, especially compared to the Leshrac, very similar. When you're looking to trade, you're going to get the better end of them most of the time, just because of the extra point in the Shadow Strike.
And top lane GY has already gone for a very early level into the Drunken Brawler. Some of the brews that I've still been seeing lately is more emphasis in the Clap and the Cinder brew. So we'll see how it's going to look to skill, but it still seems like Brewmaster's They haven't had enough time to really experiment with the new Drunken Brawler.
I mean, I have absolutely no problem with the Stronger Brawler, especially when you're paired together with an IO, right? Like, all of that extra benefits that you're getting from, fighting up into a TB. You might want the extra armor to escape. Storm Brawler for, again, it's like, when I was going through it, it was like, Earth is tanky, Storm is tanky, Fire is DPS. That's just what you're going to be looking to do against a lot of this. And I don't think you're going to be critting a TB for all that much. So if they do go for any aggressive attempts with this IO pairing, it's going to be on the Grimstroke.
Can you see them getting kills though with this? Like maybe extra levels in Drunken Brawler with that attack speed, and GY is just somehow getting lucky with the crits?
On the Grim, I feel like you have the potential to go for it. Maybe at level 3, they might opt to put 1 point in the Sin so that you can chase him down.
Maybe you get another point in it also for the armor though. But he's got Urn now picked up, so once you're able to get some charges, to Vincenzo they are. They do have to be a bit cautious at Palace though. If they look to avoid the Terror Blade, his damage is going to start to penalize him for doing so. GY playing around with the wind, but that's not enough to reset his positioning, as exactly what we're saying. You avoid Terror Blade, Palace is going to make you pay for it.
So is he switching that Brawler around at all? I mean, I know he ended on the Storm just to try and get the evasion there for the last hit. He was looking to run away and the extra movement speed, but was he on Earth Brawler most of that time? Because I feel like that's a mistake, right? Like, you want to be Fire Brawling if you're trying to kill the...
Fire Brawler activated.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was on Earth, but I didn't...
Doesn't really make sense. Like, I can understand maybe going the Storm as well, but what is an Earth Brawler providing you when you're trying to kill someone, right? Magic resistant armor against a Grimstroke does nothing.
Yeah.
At least with a Storm Brawler, you get the movement speed, but, you know... been able to catch him and kill him.
I have to imagine it's just early for the Brewmaster, and he's still getting used to the new mechanics on the hero. Like you're saying, though, you're looking for that Fire Panda, Fire Side Brawler, like you were saying, to provide that extra damage. Bob and the splitter from Citrus just pump faking the moment. It's gone for a 2-0-2 build is actually what we see quite often here from the Leshraks when you are against another ranged hero, and he's kind of struggling. I mean, a lot of denies from Bob at the moment.
Yeah, kind of surprising to be honest. Well, to be real, both sides are not having the greatest net worth battle right now. Whenever you coming up against this like spam v spam battle, you need to ferry out a little bit more regen just so that you're able to stay in lane a whole lot more. And I was about to say they nearly have identical item builds, just the magic stick, of course, having more value for Bob against that 4-second lightning storm cooldown.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Did Bob just pick up the stick? I was looking before to see if they had any. I didn't see. Did you see a Corey come out or not?
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Well, still a bounty for Dire up top. Who got the Radiant bounty? Oh, okay. Was it Shanks that moved on over before? So Citrus will be able to refill his bottle. Of course, we got another bounty spawning up shortly as well. But we do also have the power runes, and we're already starting to see the rotations. Yif's in prime position. And you also have Vincenzo that's going to look to connect after going for 1 stack.
See here that Yif is going for that mechanism build. I like it. You know, it's going to be against a Leshrac, a Queen of Pain, a Grimstroke, all heroes that love to do that AoE damage. So you're going to get much more value out of going for that as opposed to an early Holy Locket.
Bash, please. I just got fast. He should close the distance. 1 more. Oh, there we go. There's the Bash. We were asking for it. Shanks. Had a good early game so far. It's going to look to die VT faded. There's the glyph. It's going to enable this attempt. Does the Iro think about TPing down? They're able to cancel off the charge. Tino's now pretty heavily committed onto the tower. And Yif, look at the body blocks, but a quick cut through the trees. He's still eating quite an amount of damage from the towers. A bit cautious now with the Bane showing up as well. He's got 2 points in the brain saps of the burst. Something that Tino has to respect.
Just the cast range not quite there to be able to catch out the Necro before he escapes. Just the 1 point, of course, in the Nightmare, so movement coming through from Tino. I'm sure he was desperately asking Shanks to see if he could try and get some last hits there in the lane. So close to his level 6. Love to get that Reaper Scythe off onto VT Faded.
do like this early move as well from Vincenzo. He didn't go place a sentry or anything down. Actually, no, maybe he did at the heart. It looks like it's freshly placed, but he also moved over to the Ancients just to scout out if they had any stacks starting to be accumulated. So giving the information over to the rest of Execration, and now they're going to be eyeing up GY. With the perfect combo, not only is it strong if it's a position 3 Spirit Breaker, but even played as a support. These two do play very, very well together.
Radiant's top
Absolutely.
tower is under attack.
So this is what we were talking about, right? You want to make sure that you secure Tino a goodish early start to the game, not feeding his life away, which he hasn't. And that just means that he's capable of sitting in this lane. He's going to try and bully, and man, he's forcing VT Faded back. He doesn't want to get Reaper Scythed at this stage of the game and give a lot of that early regen over.
Dire's middle tower
What do you reckon about
is
that
under
change?
attack.
Hang on, Vincenzo. Does it get the stun on Shanks, and Bob's still itching to try and use the ultimate, which he actually doesn't have a level in. 4 points in the screen, but that provides you plenty of burst to get rid of Citrus, and now he's going to be eyeing up some of the support's lives as well. That kill gives GY the level 6, and now maybe with the extra damage and control, they can eye up Bob. And Illusion to provide some space and some distance to get away with the blink, but GY still hunting.
Didn't end up using the Hurl Boulder. You have to wonder how familiar GY is with this hero. Like, there's a couple of big mistakes that I feel he's made, once in the laning stage and once there, to kill off the co-op and stop the snowball from happening.
Yo, potentially gone begging, and I mean, now that is a split that you get nothing out of, and potentially GY in trouble. Menu Pink just stepping a little bit too far over as well, so Shanks gets the double stun, is going to push the Brewmaster further in the lane. Nightmare holding back Bob, and now with Yif showing up as well, looks like the sustain outweigh the dagger damage. Very nicely done. So Orca lose nothing, but the net worth really looking troublesome at this stage. I mean, bottom's already down from Tino, and he's almost got a Sanj.
Yeah,
Holy.
yeah, he's having a pretty free game down here. I mean, you just can't stay in this lane solo as VT Faded. There's no way that you're going to be able to get farm at the same rate as Tino is. So self-sustaining.
So there's that tiny answer that we were looking for from Tino, and I'd still, like, yes, he's had a very good lane, but I want to see how he can utilize this net worth lead that he's been able to pick up. Can he do a lot with this to enable his team to have a victory? They're sitting pretty at the moment. 4,000 net worth lead. Terrorblade got a ridiculous amount of the lane as Palos has fallen back and taken the stacks that Vincenzo had already started to accumulate for him, so Palos is loving life.
I have to wonder, like, I know we were in the draft and we reeled off, excuse me, all of the heroes that GY are fantastic on, but yeah, Brewmaster certainly doesn't jump out to me as one. It's not anywhere near the same level of, his Mars, his Legion Commander. Those are the ones that I really...
Wait. I just blinked in to try and deny the DD, and now Citra's like, alright, I'll quick and easy penalize.
Free kill.
Tino's gonna be a bit cautious too. Expecting the damage from Citrus and Yif as well. 2 points in overcharge. Really able to amp up that damage.
As long as he's not getting chains done, though, Tino's going to have a just fine time. He's got full 1 charges. He's got a point in the Ghost Shroud.
Oh, Shanks? Oh, he cancelled the charge. I guess he saw Menu Ping looking to step over. He's got Palos thinking about backing him up. Bob TP's in again. Blink up. It's only level 1, so he's got to be perfect with his blinks. Sonic Wave push back. Citrus is falling low. He might take out of the dagger. Menu Pink, does he get the timing with the deny? No, oh, Yif is like, all right, don't deny me. I got the eye nearby. But it gives an opportunity for Bob to kill the Brewmaster. Now he's eyeing up some more targets as well. Tino also can't close the distance for the Scythe. Now towards the north. It's going to be Menu Ping that is left on an island here without anyone nearby. Bash across the map as Shanks still kills Citrus. What's going on? Execration, one kill after another. Now Shanks is like, thank you for the bounty.
Oh my god, you love to see.
Well, VT Faded's farming. Danog, let's go. Silver Linings.
Need Silver Linings. They had a great fight.
Charging again. GY has the split, but Tino will just drop the scythe before they get the Soulbind as well. Gonna bring Ari down to a critical threshold where he has to be cautious of his own position now if a further fight breaks out. Rest of Orca, they're gonna try and push Execration back, but they will get no one in return.
Middle tower is under attack.
Now, We may have jinxed it early on, but we said Walker only need that one win to be able to avoid that situation where they're going to be in the lower bracket, and you know, they're not looking super
Chenzo?
hot in this one, although.
Shang's gonna try and find an angle, charge through, and if they can bring down the Ira to start again, that's a lot of the sustain. Sitch just gonna try and push them back. They gotta respect the damage from the left track at the moment. Bob doesn't give a damn. Jumps over to deal with the back. He's still now able to deal with the left track as well. Triple for your man. And now they're looking over to VT Faded as well. The carry that was free farming across the map felt like he was pressured to get involved to maybe offset some of the struggles they're having early on. An ultra for Bob. 9,000 net worth lead for Execration. This game is really starting to get out of hand.
I'm going to go have a quick look at Danog to get some stats going on and just see what happens when it's, what was it, a 9k net worth lead at about the 12-minute mark.
I mean, it's pretty much 100% this game's over. I'm pretty sure that Dota said. 100? Not 100. It was like 90 something. It's not going to be 100, but
I'll have a look.
alright, you do shit. 91% from Dota Plus, so going off the back of Daddy Gavin, he's given the edge here to Execration. Palace is like, you guys keep farming. That's alright. I'm 1-0-2. On top of the net worth. It's alright. Let me get to my spike as GY goes down. Blame Danog for missing that. And our bottom lane, we're going to miss this. Palos and Tino actually been forced to relocate out. I don't think they would have connected anyway. Maybe under threat of the rest of Dire trying to bring their forces down to bottom. So they will get Eye on the relocate back. That Dota saying.
Dota is saying if you have a... This seems wrong. They're saying if you've got a 4,000 net worth lead at 13 minutes, it's 100%. I find that hard.
Yeah, look, I do remember it being low, still like 5,000-6,000 net worth was one of the stats you showed me, and it was a ridiculous high probability. I don't know about 4K, but... Shanks? But the fact that the Spirit Breaker is this farmed is same net worth with the Brew. So you were speaking about the Shadow Blade and the issues that that would have given over to Orca. They're going to smoke to try and connect the top. Killing a Spirit Breaker into a tower. Not the worst sequence here for Orca. You'll take whatever you can get out on the map right now.
So it is, I've corrected it. It is 9,000 is 100%. Actually, 8,000 is 100% win probability according to that.
Thank you, Danog and Dota, for that beautiful piece of information. And now with that, we can close up shop here. And this is statistically, so it's not even biased or anything like that. But I'm still huffing my copium and saying, Orca, I believe in the lads. You are going to have issues. So, like, the recognition on Palace that Skadi is quite the way to deal with them. Not only the Leshrac, but also the sustain you're looking to play off the back with the Iro is now heavily going to be mitigated thanks to this early Skadi.
Absolutely.
Top lane, another kill on Shanks. Couple freebies.
Yeah, but it went to menu ping, so it's not actually going to provide all that much. You know, it's a big difference if you're able to give that sort of kill over to GY, for example. Get him a little bit more closer. I mean, we're at the 16-minute mark, and VT Faded. He's brought up the Blitz Knuckles. I wonder if he's going to go straight into the action.
Look, try and jump in. Let's see if Yip has enough sustain. Not with Tino showing up with a scythe. Really nice positioning from Bob as well. He blinked behind, tried to Sonic Wave the Leshrac closer to Tino's scythe, and also just potentially away from any extra support. And now Yif is going to die on the return. It's sick for Bob. Oh, they're even eyeing up more. A Soulbind onto Bo. Shank's going to get involved. He's got the Nether Strike onto 2, man. This is looking beautiful for Execration.
Reach and call it territory, and it's not even 17 minutes in. I mean, maybe just wanting to wait for that Terrorblade to get the Skadi, move up into the high ground. Man, they're even pushing this bottom tower with a siege creep still alive.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Execration, like we were saying towards the start of this series, they're just looking so much stronger in recent times.
That's another big kill, level 10, but Bob 3 level advantage too early. They've had enough. I don't blame them. VT Faded's not happy as well. A quick GG into the disconnect and Execration. Maya,
Radiant's
you
bottom
put
tower
a
has fallen.
statement on this
Dire
game one,
victory.
saying that you are not a team to be messed with.
No, for sure not. And yeah, it just never felt like they came into it. There were just far too many mechanical mistakes, in my opinion, that happened that time around. Mostly centered, to be completely honest, around GY. So I think if it's going to be a bit of a different story in game number two, that's where they need to be looking to focus on. Pick up his hero a little bit earlier in the draft. Get that real team fight execution style. I honestly don't even think it was the Necro that did a lot of the work. It was Bob and his rotations alongside Shanks and Vincenzo that really set that up.
I'm just excited to see like if we do get more Necrophoses to deal with the Tiny. Like the lane was great. It's a question of how the rest of the game would have looked. We won't get the answer to that with how dominant Execration were. And it's a like the team that a lot of people were counting out with the roster maybe they previously had into DPC. But now you've got some lads there that are really looking to grow. You know, with Tino coming back, with Paulos coming back, you picked up Shanks, and now you've got a roster to build around. And yes, it's game one of this series, but really just the story that I really want to set up. I'm sure a lot of people are for this your pro series. They're really looking to just lay down the groundwork to set up for the for the DPC, to set up for that Division 1, because if you can start to build some confidence, especially on Tino as well, and everyone else, then this could be a team that takes games, takes series off. And with how well they're performing, I mean, that's Orca's no joke of a team, taking game one and convincing like that, and now you're setting yourselves up for a really strong game 2. But just like you said, came down to maybe some mechanical errors, something that Orca weren't as comfortable on, but at the end of the day, it was Execration performing to a very high level. So they will take out game 1 here. We're going to send it over break, and when we come back, we'll have our last game of the night, which will be Orca up against Execration. We'll see you guys shortly.